want to have this, more expressions on politics, and you have the passion to attending the politics activist?
Well, as I was kind of born into it, really. My family were very political, and then as I started to write and I was going to university, I was part of the political movement of the 60s, 1960s. We were what we used to call revolting students. I still am, actually. It's just a way of being. I mean, in a sense, you can look at politics as a form of activism, but actually you can also look at it, it is a slightly 60s way of looking at it, of a way of being. I mean, as an example, a man called E.P. Thompson, he took some advice that came from the government called Protect and Survive, and he turned it over and he called it Protest and Survive, and he produced a booklet called that. And in a way, I mean, I won't say it's a motto, but I mean, in a way, it's a form of survival to protest and to think about the way the world is, because it's a way of existence, yes? So again, I say it's slightly 60s-ish, because in the 60s there were movements that were sometimes called the situationists, or you had Sartre with existentialism, and these waved over us, and they had their own effects, because the idea of some of the ideas that circulated were about the fact that everything around us and about us has a political dimension. I mean, if we just say there's this electricity, well, where does this electricity come from? Well, some working people somewhere are producing this electricity. How are they organised to produce that electricity? And then suddenly that's political. I mean, so you don't think as you switch on a light, I'm being political, but there's a way in which politics infuses every aspect of your life. This food that I'm eating, that water I've just drunk, where did it come from? How do we get water? Where does it come from? What organisation? So you can get through life not bothering, my own kids, they're not bothered about it. If I go, that's really interesting, I wonder where the water came from. Oh, Jesus. Their politics is to not be interested. But, coming to where I am, so it's no contradiction to me that I might be one moment talking to a group of 5-year-olds and having lots of fun with words and going on a bear hunt and all that sort of stuff, and then the next, let us say, for that brief moment, supporting Jeremy Corbyn. It's very brief, I don't know why. My enemies, they think I'm some kind of strange Corbyn fanatic. Those of us, anyway, I won't go there, but anyway, it's sort of weird. They go, he spent, the last 5 years up Corbyn's arse. You go, really? I hardly know the bloke. He's Corbyn's bosom pal. You get all this stuff. What? I've never been in his house, you've never been in mine. We've only ever met for 5 minutes, quite a few 5 minutes is at meetings, but you think, what is it? It's weird, but anyway, never mind. Yes, so it's no contradiction for me. I know society compartmentalises these things. If you're a cyclist, then what do you mean you're interested in politics? But I thought you were interested in being a cyclist. Well, it's no contradiction. It doesn't have to be. So it's like the way the government talk about people called motorists, as if there's this special category of human being who go about going, I'm a motorist. Hello, I'm just thinking about my motor. Those fuckers, they're trying to stop me motoring. Yeah. So they suddenly address it, and you sort of depoliticise people by calling them motorists. Suddenly they're not people who work, they're not people who worry about the NHS, they're not people who are dying, they're just motorists. Yeah, they've got their hands are locked, glued to a steering wheel, and the whole brain is taken up with, I wonder what's going on the dashboard. Yeah, so that's what they try to do to us. But one of the interesting things about the kind of politics I have is to make connections across all of it. It all joins up. There are no lines. There's no lines. There's something is connected to something. Of course it is. And always has been. I mean, the nature of existence, if you're going back to ancient peoples, there's no division between when they're making fires and when they're hunting and so on. It's all part of existence. But we've somehow, since the scientific revolution, we've chopped these things up into little bits. And then, of course, we can say, oh, God, you work on the railways. I don't like you. You're a railwayman, you're dirty. I don't like you. Over here, I'm a plumber. I'm much better than a railwayman. And they love that when we can all separate ourselves off in these different categories. And then they're laughing. Our rulers are laughing if they've separated us all off. So I try to make connections, as most people in this room do. I think it's one of the ways we make sense of every day. Does that answer?
Thank you.
Well, no, thank